1953, both Mickey Vernon of the Washington Senators and Al Rosen of the Cleveland Indians were locked in a close batting title race. Vernon paced the circuit in doubles, and their averages were only fractions apart. Vernon 336, Rosen 333. And the final day of the season began. Rosen went 3 for 5 that day, ending the season at 336. Vernon went 2 for 4 to take the title at 337. When his teammates realized that Vernon might have to bat again in the ninth, they took steps to ensure that he would win the title. Mickey Grasso doubled with 2 outs in the eighth, but wandered far enough from second base to make sure he got picked off. In the ninth, Kite Thomas led off with a single and tried unsuccessfully to stretch it into a double. His effort was described as leisurely. The next batter, Eddie Yost, known for his incredible batting eye, swinging on a third strike over his head. Pete Reynolds struck out too, on excuse me half swing. The eminently likable Vernon didn't have to go to bat and captured a somewhat tainted title. In the 20th century, nobody played more games at first base than Mickey Vernon. Welcome everybody, this is Apba Brian at Apba Baseball Classics. It is raining outside, but it's always a good day to play Apba Baseball inside. And today we have Game 6 of the American League Double Elimination Tournament. Washington Senators at the St. Louis Browns. Here are your starting lineups. First for the Washington Senators. We have for the Senators, Case in left field, Kramer in center field, Lewis at third base, Travis at shortstop, Vernon at first base, Early's catching, Bloodworth at second, Wheelage in right field, and Sid Hudson on the mound. For the St. Louis Browns, Hefner's at second base, Clift at third base, Columbine in right field, McQuinn first base, Labs in center field, Judnich in left field, Berardino at shortstop, Farrell's the catcher, and Moncrief is the pitcher. We're ready to begin. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. Moncrief is a grade B pitcher. With the Z modifier, we're using basic Apba rules, but advanced stealing. George Case steps in for the Senators. 63 is a fly ball to center field, and that is caught by Chet Labes. One down. Doc Kramer. 6-6 roll. That is a extra base hit roll. 61 is going to be a double for Doc Kramer. And there is a lot of speed at the top of this Washington lineup. Here is Buddy Lewis. Buddy Lewis attended college at Wake Forest University. 1-1 roll, that's a hit column roll. And 55 is going to be a long drive. It's way back there. There it goes. It's a home run for Buddy Lewis. Washington goes up top 2-0. Here is Cecil Travis, 359 hitter in 1941. 34 is a fly ball to Jet Labs in center field. Now 2 outs. And Mickey Vernon steps in for the Senators. 53 is a 20. Both teams are fielding column 2. It's an error on the second baseman. So Vernon, a fast runner at first. Jake Early, the catcher. 25 is a 8 against a B pitcher. That's going to be a ground out to third base, 5-3. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Washington breaks out on top, 2-0. So Hudson completes his warm-up tosses. He's a grade B pitcher, Y modifier. And for the Browns, Don Hefner, the second baseman. 41 is a 28. That's going to be a ground out to the shortstop for the first out. Here is Harlan Clift. 65 is going to be a foul out to the catcher. 2 outs. Roy Columbine. 25 is a fly out to Doc Kramer in center field. We go to the top of the second, 2-0 Washington. Okay, I had St. Louis's defense figure 1. They're actually fielding column 1. That did not affect the play result in the first inning where there was an error on the second baseman. It still would have been an error on the second baseman. Jake Early leads off the second for Washington. Here's the pitch from Moncrief. 56 is a swing and a miss for strike 3, and that's not the leadoff hitter. Bloodworth is the leadoff hitter. 56 is going to be a pop out to the shortstop. 1 out. Johnny Wheelash. 56 is a pop to the shortstop as well. 2 outs. And here is the pitcher for Washington, Seth Hudson. Not a bad hitting pitcher. He was a career 220 batter. 6-6 roll. That's going to be a double for the pitcher, Seth Hudson. 2 outs. He'll be in scoring position for George Case. 24 is going to be a ground ball back to the first baseman. 3-1 score. And we go to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Washington. Mac McQuinn leads off for St. Louis. He was 0 for 2 in the first game. 43 is a ground ball, let's see, back to the pitcher, 1-3. 1 out. Chet Labes came to St. Louis in a 1939 9-player trade that sent Bobo Newsom to Detroit. 24 is a swing and miss for strike 3. 2 outs. Wally Judnich. 61 is going to be a foul ball. 6-6 roll, that's a hit column. Here, 1 dice went off the table. I'm going to re-roll. 24 is a double for Wally Judnich. Comes with 2 outs. Here is Johnny Berardino. 26 is a 24 is pop out to shortstop. We go to the top of the third, 2-0 Washington. Doc Kramer will lead off for Washington. He was one of the top 10 outfielders in career putouts for the 20th century. Very good defensive center fielder. Played in the All-Star games from 37 through 40. Here's the pitch to Kramer. 42 is a fly ball to right field. 1 out. Buddy Lewis. One 4 is a fly ball to Wally Judnich in left field. 2 outs. Cecil Travis, one of the American League's best hitters. 51 is a fly ball to Chet Labes in center field. Go to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Washington. With the bottom of the St. Louis order, Rick Farrell, the catcher, then the pitcher, and then to the top of the order, 63, is a fly ball to Doc Kramer in center field. One away. We are in the third inning. Forgot to change the scoreboard. Bill Moncrief. .25 is a single for Moncrief, the pitcher. So both pitchers have hit safely in this game. Average speed at first, one down, and Donald Hefner, the batter. 63 is a fly ball to center field, 2 outs. Brings up Harlan Cliff. Hit 17 home runs in 1941. Has some power, 45. That's going to be a walk. First and second for the Browns. 2 away. Roy Columbine, who made the 1941 All-Star team. 45 is also a walk. Bases are loaded. Fans are clapping their hands or waiting for something to happen here. Mac McQuinn, 297 in 1941, cleanup hitter. Here's the pitch. 51 is a 9 against a grade B pitcher and a bases loaded. That's going to be a fly out, or with 2 outs, that's going to be actually a strikeout. So Moncrief holds on. We go to the top of the fourth, 2-0 Washington. Not Moncrief holding on, that's Sid Hudson holding on for Washington. Here at the top of the fourth, Mickey Vernon will lead off. He was Dwight Eisenhower's favorite player in the 1940s, also early 50s. 63 is a fly ball to center field, 1 away. Jake Early. 43 is a ground ball back to the pitcher, I believe. Two outs. Jimmy Bloodworth. 24 is a fly out to Wally Judnich in left field. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still 2-0 Washington. Chet Labes from Milwaukee, Wisconsin leads off for the St. Louis Browns. 16 is a ground out to the shortstop, Cecil Travis. 1 away. Wally Judnich. 41 is a ground out to Cecil Travis. 2 outs. Here's the St. Louis shortstop, Johnny Berardino. Johnny Berardino went to USC, parlayed his baseball career into a very successful Hollywood career as an actor. 34 is a fly ball to center field. The Browns are 3 up and 3 down. We go to the top of the fifth, 2-0 Senators. Johnny Wheelash played in the major leagues from 1939 through 1943, and after that he became director of stadium operations for the Texas Rangers. That was from 73 to 84, and then he was the spring training director for Texas until 1999. Here's the pitch to Wheelash. 51 is a 40. That's going to be a foul ball. 46 is the roll, and ground out to shortstop. 6-3. Retired by Johnny Berardino. 1 out. Here's the pitcher, Sid Hudson, who doubled his first time up. 1-6 is a ground out to the shortstop. George Case. 56 is going to be a pop out to Johnny Berardino at shortstop. So Berardino makes all three plays on defense. We go to the bottom of the fifth, 2-0 Washington. Rick Farrell will lead off for the St. Louis Browns. He had his best season in 1939, where he hit over 300 at 315, and then in the 33 All-Star game, the first All-Star game, he caught all 9 innings for the American League. So it has some pitches to Rick Farrell. 54 is going to be a fly ball to the right fielder, Johnny Wheelash, one away. Bob Moncrief, the pitcher. 36 is the roll. That's a pop out to Y modifier, so that's going to be a strikeout. 2 outs. Here is Donald G. Hefner. 22 is a fly out to center field. Go to the top of the sixth. It's Washington 2, St. Louis 0. Doc Kramer leads off for the center. He's 1 for 2. He has a double in the game. 53 is a 15. It's going to be a fly out to the left fielder, Wally Judnich, who makes a good play out there, 1 away. Buddy Lewis. 64 is a walk. E23 on stealing. Cecil Travis. Runner is not going. 22 is hit column roll. And 14 is going to be a 7. The runner will go to third. And with 1 down, the Senators have a threat. Mickey Vernon. The Browns, they like to play their infield back. They're going to try to get a double play. Here's the pitch to Mickey Vernon. 24 is a swing and a miss for strike 3. 2 outs. And that helps uncomplicate things for Bob Moncrief. He just has to get 1 more out to avoid this threat. 1-2 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. 6-3. We're at the bottom of the 6th, still 2-0 Washington. Harlan Cliff will lead off for the Senators, or for the Browns. 65 is going to be a pop-up to the catcher. 1 down. Roy Columbine. 52 is a ground out to the third baseman. 2 outs. So far, Sid Henson has allowed but 2 hits to the St. Louis Browns. George McQuinn. 1-4 is a fly ball to left field caught by George Case. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. It's Washington 2, St. Louis 0. Moncrief completes his warm-up tosses. He's pitched well. He gave up 2 runs, 2-run homer to Buddy Lewis in the first inning, but nothing since. Here's Jimmy Bloodworth. 26 is going to be a ground out to the third baseman. 5-3, 1 out. Johnny Wheelash. 34 is a fly out to center field. 2 down. And Sid Hudson. 36 is a, let's see, he doesn't have the white modifier, so it's going to be a pop-up to second base. We're at the bottom of the 7th, still 2-0 Washington. Chet Labes will lead off for the Browns. He is 0 for 6 in the tournament. Here's the pitch to Labes, 32. That's a ground ball to the second baseman, Jimmy Bloodworth. One away. Wally Jednitz. .42 is a walk. All right, here's Johnny Berardino. 55, that's going to be a ground out to third base, 5-3, with the runner going to second. Catcher Rick Farrell, he represents a tie and run. The pitcher's on deck, but they're going to go ahead and pitch to Farrell as he is a tie and run. 64 is going to be a wild pitch. Runner goes to third. One ball on the hitter. 42 is going to be ball 4. That'll bring up a pitch hitter for the pitcher Moncrief. Joe Grace will be hitting for St. Louis. There's 2 outs. 43 is a ground ball back to first base, and Grace is retired, 3-1. We go to the top of the 8th inning. It's Washington 2 and St. Louis nothing. Okay, as we go to the 8th inning, we have a new pitcher for the St. Louis Browns. He is Frederick Fritz Ostermuller, grade D pitcher, Y modifier. He'll be facing the top of the Washington batting order. 42 to George Case is a fly ball to the left fielder, Wally Jednitz. 1 down. Here is Doc Kramer. 41 is a ground out to the shortstop, Johnny Berardino. 2 down. And Buddy Lewis. 61 is going to be a fly out to Roy Columbine in right field. Bottom of the 8th we go. Senators 2, Browns nothing. Donald Hefner leads off the top of the order for the Browns. They've got 6 outs to make up these 2 runs. 43 is the roll. That's going to be a ground ball to the pitcher. 1-3. 1 away. Harlan Clift. 1-5 is going to be a base hit. Single to center field for Harlan Clift. And it's been since the 3rd inning that the Browns have got a hit. Brings a tying run to the plate. That's Roy Columbine. 1-4 is a fly ball to left field. 2 down. Sid Hudson is still 2 batters away from his point of weakness. Mac McQuinn. 33 is a 6 against a B. That's going to be a double, and Clift will score. It is 2-1 Washington. That will prompt a pitching change for the Washington Senators. They're going to bring in Early Wynn. He's a grade B pitcher and YZ modifiers. But more importantly, he is right-handed to face the right-hander Chet Labes and get the 1 level bump up for the first batter. Labes is the go-ahead run. The tying run is on second. So Wynn will become a pitcher for the first batter. 44 is a roll. That's going to be an 8. And that is going to be a ground out to third base. So Early Wynn gets the job done. He holds the Browns there. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Washington 2, St. Louis 1. Fritz Ostermuller will come back out for the ninth inning. He'll be facing the middle of the Senator lineup, Cecil Travis, Mickey Vernon, and Jake Early. 36 is a fly out to right field. One away. That brings up Mickey Vernon, who won 2 batting titles in his career in 1946 and 1953. Spent a lot of time in the major league scene. He was a coach and manager until 1982. 41 is a ground ball through the shortstop. 2 outs. Catcher Jake Early. 24 is a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the ninth. St. Louis up by 1 over the Browns. Okay, it's going to be up to Early Wynn to preserve this victory for Sid Hudson and the Washington Senators. This is an elimination game. And for the Browns, it's going to be up to Wally Jednitz, Johnny Berardino, and Rick Farrell to do something about this deficit of 1 run. Here's the pitch from Early Wynn. 23 is a rollout to the second baseman, Jimmy Bloodworth. 1 down. Johnny Berardino will come to bat. He is 0 for 3 today and 1 for 3 in the first game. He had a double in the first game against the White Sox. 52 is going to be a ground out to third base. There are 2 outs, and Rick Farrell is the Browns' last hope. 62 is going to be a 38, ball 1. 64 is a 36, that's ball 2. He is being very patient and very selective up there. 61 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, Cecil Travis. Throws over to Mickey Vernon, and that is the final out of the ball game. Your final score, the Washington Senators 2 and the St. Louis Browns 1. Okay, in today's game, the Washington Senators scored 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors. The St. Louis Browns had 1 run on 4 hits, and they committed 1 error. The winning pitcher was Sid Hudson, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 1 run given up, save to Early Wynn. And Moncrief is the losing pitcher. Star of the game today for Washington would be Buddy Lewis with the 2-run homer in the first inning, driving in Doc Kramer. Third baseman Buddy Lewis is today's star of the game. St. Louis Browns just could not get any offense going in this tournament. They had only 7 hits in the entire tournament and 2 runs. Just could not get the bats going. So for the tournament, we have the next game is in the National League, and that will be game 7 in the tournament, back into the winner's bracket. The New York Giants at the Brooklyn Dodgers. I really think Brooklyn's the best team in this tournament. Anything can happen in a double elimination tournament. But I do think Brooklyn, with all the Hall of Famers that are on that team, they were a special team. In the American League, the St. Louis Browns drop out. They have 2 losses. Washington will move forward, and they will play the loser of Game 7, the loser of the Indians at Yankees. And let's see. Yeah, like I said, the next game is going to be Giants at the Brooklyn Dodgers. So between the game and the wrap-up, my son called me and asked me if I wanted to go see the movie 1917. And I did. And so we went and did that. And I live across the street from the National World War I Museum in Kansas City. That is a tremendous museum. And there's just a lot of stuff in there, and they really depict that event so well. Now, the movie I thought was outstanding. I'm not a movie critic, but it was very intense and I think pretty authentic. Anyway, that will wrap up today's game. We'll be back tomorrow, and I think after we finish both of the game 7s, or maybe after game 8, both of the game 8s in the American League and the National League, that's 4 more games, we will do a National League 1941 All-Star game. And that 1941 All-Star actual game was outstanding. I think this one could be very good also. Thanks for joining me. Good night and God bless.